Hello and welcome to the skating lesson. I'm Dave Lees, and I'm thrilled to welcome back Maya Bagriantseva to the show. Maya, welcome back.
Welcome back. Hi.
Hi, yes. So this is going to be our European Championships show recap. You were there on site. I have to be honest, I only just watched the Europeans. I haven't recorded a show since the plane crash of American Airlines 5342. So I was writing it and covering it, but I felt too emotional and I didn't feel like I had anything comforting or uplifting to say. I guess if you will, in that time, it's just been such a tragic time for I think all of figure skating, especially American figure skating. So you were at
Yeah,
your
I would love to start with the my condolences as well. It's a tragedy, an awful tragedy, and everyone at Europeans was like very much talking about that. People were very sad. Like the first day the news broke out, it was very big. I mean, the figure skating family is a family, right? So everybody was talking about the rinks they were training at, coaches they knew, and I mean, it was hard. The first couple of days were specifically hard because skaters kept talking about that. And I mean, many of them were very, very emotional. And the atmosphere in the press center was, you can imagine it, right? It was not a regular Europeans. Um, Many skaters said a lot. Like Adam saw him far. He actually devoted his short skate to the memory of those killed in the air crash, in the plane crash. And everybody was like, Daniel Grasso said he was so emotional. He knew the rink because he was training there in Boston. And I mean, it was hard. So my condolences to everybody.
yeah. And you were on Europeans. How did you find out about the plane crash?
I think it was a push notification in the morning. I mean, due to the time difference, it was
Yeah.
very early in the morning. I
I
think,
spoke to you at some point, but I don't remember what time we spoke. It was a blur, at that
yeah,
point.
I think I woke up, there was some push notifications, and I saw your messages, some other messages from my American friends and colleagues, and then everybody at the European, half of the world started to wake up, and I rushed to the rink. And because it's easier to be somewhere with people around you, obviously, and everybody was sharing some news. And then there was this big thing about some Russian news sources publishing fake lists of possible passengers of that plane, and there were like big names. Some of them they just, they took all the Russian looking names of the US national team and published there. So we had to, investigate, and many people contacted me asking whether I know something about that, which I obviously didn't. It's just some, bad PR. I mean, they wanted some clicks, news clicks, obviously. That was really, I would say, disgusting, not even sad. It was really bad.
What are the rules about I mean, obviously Ari was there. He would have known that Shishkova and Naumov were on the plane. It was announced in Russia before it was announced here. And it was interesting because originally the news in the US was that the US team died and two Russians. And it was like, well, those Russians are a big part of US figure skating, right? But that nuance was it was reported very differently. So
In Russia, it was like US national team. First, they said junior national team, then they said just national team, then they said the novice team. Nobody had like the exact information. They also said some Russian coaches, but very soon it was updated to ex-Russian coach, ex-Russian skaters, now American coaches. But I mean, the tragedy is I mean, everybody felt that even in Russia, and nobody actually, and thanks it happened that way. Nobody actually was like dividing whether it's Russian figure skaters or American coaches. It's a big tragedy for everyone.
we also lost Dick Button the next day, which is huge
Yeah,
in
what a,
figure
what a
skating in
week.
America. Now, do the Russians know who Dick Button is as much? Because they probably wouldn't have heard his commentary.
No, I don't think so. I think that they just know him as a figure in the history of figure skating. They know they probably some read something online, but it's definitely not as much of a historical figure as
Mhm.
he was for, and he is for the US audience.
Have you heard his commentary? Like, did you watch it?
Just a couple of times, I think some of the extracts on YouTube, but
Okay.
nothing more.
Oh, we, you could watch for hours and learn everything about figure skating and more. But I'm
Yeah,
working.
I heard a lot about the way he did the commentary, and it was a piece of art.
Yes, yeah. But I'm working on a feature about that I'll be publishing either
Oh,
to
that's good. I'll definitely watch it.
Yeah, it'll be written, but I'll send it to you. Yeah, so I wanted to know your impressions of the Europeans. So you were there on site. So we before we said for Europeans, we also have the Russian juniors going on, and also there's the
Yeah,
ever
Russian juniors are happening right now.
and the changing news about what is happening with our Russian team selection. So I'm curious if you have heard any updates, and also what is it just a constant rumor mill in Russia right now with what is going on until we hear more from the IOC and the Federation?
Nothing is happening much.
Mhm,
Actually, we've had pretty silent couple of weeks.
mhm,
It feels like the federation is working on the list
mhm,
because they have to, apply for a neutral quota for one skater in each discipline plus one substitute. And this has to be a very tough choice because you cannot substitute this figure skater after the qualification in Beijing. So it's a substitute only in case of injury or illness. And if something happens to that, and it has to be the absolutely the same skater,
mhm,
both in Beijing at qualifier and in Milano, which means that right after September, once the qualification tournament is done and that neutral athlete gets the quarter, he or she cannot be substituted for that substitute that it was approved initially, even if there is an injury, even if there is a sickness. So it's going to be like a tough choice, and they're still deciding. We're going to have Grand Prix final here, Russian Grand Prix final mid-February, and they say that the final lists will go right after that.
mhm. Now, I'm curious what you think about this. Obviously, we know right now that the skaters are only going to be permitted at the qualification event and the Olympics. But you
Yeah.
have a skater who is declared neutral by an ISU council, right? And we know that they're going to be in the Olympic Games, which is going to add a tremendous amount of interest. Could that skater theoretically be invited by a host federation to participate in the Grand Prix?
No.
They haven't said this,
No.
but do you think that this is something the
No,
ISU?
it is said in the document. It's explicitly said there that this qualification, that like this quota for neutral athletes is only for the Olympics and for the
Correct.
Olympic qualifier. It says that the original communication dating back to, I think it was March 2022,
Mhm,
states that Russia is not allowed to compete and it stays in place.
mhm. Do you think that could be updated in the future?
Anytime.
Yeah.
Very much depends on politics, as you can understand. So that may happen.
Mhm,
I wouldn't say that might happen. That
mhm,
can happen. I don't know. Very much depends on the behind the scenes, agreements.
mhm,
At the moment, I don't see that happening because, as far as I understand, not many federations are supporting this decision because this pre-Olympic year, pre-Olympic season is going to be tough enough,
mhm,
and having Russian neutral athletes back would be an additional, I don't know, pressure, or
mhm,
even just not, they do not consider it as a wise decision to do it before the Olympics. I think that may happen right after the Olympics, but
mhm,
we'll see. We have ISU Council meeting planned for Boston. It will be
mhm,
held simultaneously at the same time as the Worlds. And we also have the ISU Virtual Congress planned for June. So there are possibilities, let's put
yeah.
it this way. And actually, if something happens like big in politics, in terms of politics, they can call for an extraordinary meeting anytime. But at the moment, nothing speaks for this, you know, that it may happen.
I would not be shocked.
I would not be shocked either because, I
That's what
mean,
I'm trying to think is, is pure conjecture. I think the first thing is we have to establish which athletes can actually be considered neutral, right? That,
mhm.
I think it's a three-person committee that will decide that.
It's
Uh,
a special ICU commission. It's happening for the first time. It was not there for the Paris Olympics in summer. It's something that's going to be introduced by the ICU. And I wonder, I have two questions. First, if Russian Federation of Figure Skating is going to publish their list. And second, if ICU is going to publish the list of people on that commission, because
hmm,
very much depends on that.
yeah. I think once that is determined, maybe there would be a chance. We have to see what happens politically, but I think that's kind of the first inroad back, and we shall see. But um,
Russia very much believes in President Trump. that he will have something to do with Russian ban and Russia coming back to competitions. I don't know why people believe that, but he is considered to be like the Santa Claus that can bring some good news.
I'm going to keep my opinions to myself, but I
Yeah,
don't
I'm not
think
giving any opinions. I'm just giving you the,
this is.
the temperature, how people feel.
I think he is more favorable to Russia than the Biden administration was in terms of sports in that way. So, and I don't know, right? Like what can, things can
Yeah,
happen.
we can only speculate, and
Yeah.
what's the point? Yeah.
Stuff is changing by the day here in the news, so things are moving
I
quickly.
hate opening news, seriously. It's just every morning it's like, what now?
It's
But
we almost forget what it was like before, but it's even bigger than ever, right? Especially with Elon Musk as a part of our news cycle now. So things are
yeah.
changing very rapidly.
Let's come back to Europeans. It's a
Yes,
nicer discussion.
yes.
Yes.
Well, I wanted to know who is on the top list that you're thinking is being, considered debated. I think obviously for the men, Diki, right, is the one that everyone is wondering if he will be able to. His coach
Yeah,
had.
he's kind of a black horse for everybody else, like internationally, because nobody seen him
Mhm.
at some international competitions. His name is pretty big now in Russia because he's the one who is doing quad axel. And he's done that not only on social media, but actually at the Russian Nationals. No, 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 the jumping competition that we had. That's a special tournament devoted only to jumps, some kind of new format. He did two successful landings of quad axel, one unsuccessful. So he's capable of doing that. We've never seen that jump within the program, but at least it makes it interesting, right? He is the second person that we know is successful landing it. He's a great guy. He's very nice. He's very like his feeling of camaraderie. He's always supporting everyone. He is never he is not egoistic, not at all. He's not thinking about himself. He's very nice, I would say, and I will be very happy if international audience gets a chance to see him.
No, I know that not everyone knows if Mishail Galyamov will be able to go because there was a photo of them with Vladimir Putin that's been shared.
But we have to again emphasize that that photo was taken at the presidential reception right after the Olympics. This is the thing that happens in many countries. It happens in the White House as well.
I don't think that will preclude them. I think that they are going to be approved. That's my personal opinion because the US does that, right? Like that's just a standard.
They never expressed any support for the war.
Mhm.
They never actually published anything, I
Mhm.
mean, in this regard. But so much depends on who's going to be on that commission. Once again, whether they consider this to be enough, we'll see.
If they can't go, Alyona Kosternaya, Georgi Kunitsa, I think they've been outside of politics and
No, but they cannot even be considered because they did not compete this season. But there is Baikova Kozlovsky. They are skating at Teritot Beridze School. There is Habibulina Knizhuk. There are a number of good Russian pairs that may be included. So Federation has a choice.
What do you think is going on with Russian ice dance? They all stopped competing all at once before this has happened.
It's getting actually way better. Last
Right.
season it was a disaster, but this season we have a number of pretty good teams. They're kind of new. They need some more time to skate together to get, chemistry and feeling between each other. But they're interesting to watch. I did not expect that happen last season, and we have pretty strong field. I don't know whom they're going to send because there's an obvious choice, Stepanova Bukin, but at the same time, they can consider, more appropriate to send somebody new. Like Kaganovska, I know is very, very well anticipated at the international
Everyone
scene.
loves her, Maya. We get comments that you don't love her enough when you are on
No,
the
no,
show.
no, 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 no. Let's make it clear. I just want to give them as much credit as to other new teams. They're good. They need some more time. They're nice to watch. She is a very pretty lady and she's very
Gorgeous line.
emotional.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good lines. Yes. I think that their coaches know they have to work on some skating skills. But it's just that I don't like when there's so much hysteria about a team. It's like give them a break. It's a little bit too much pressure even for themselves, right? So uh,
We
there are a
have to
number
take
of
you
other
around.
teams.
You weren't excited about Kosternaya doing pairs originally, and now you're not excited enough about kind of.
Um,
I need
You
to.
know what? I was being realistic. Where is Alona now? She's not competing, right?
Who's your
So
favorite member of? We call them the triple A's. You would call them Tash K, right?
Teshika, they hate this
Yes.
because they said that they wanted to be one, they deserved separate attention for each of them, but it's Trusova, Sherbakova, and Kostarnaya.
Who's your
Teshika, three
favorite?
Russian letters. My favorite off the ice, on the ice, program-wise, skating skill-wise. I mean, obviously, Kostarnaya is one like a character.
Uh-huh.
Anna Sherbakova is invincible. She's fantastic. We call that in Russia plus start. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. She's always better in competition than in practices.
Yes.
And Sasha Trusova is a Russian rocket. I mean, they're all, I think we'll never, not never, I don't think that we'll soon experience the chance to see a generation like that. But I mean, they're all gone now. And actually, all three of them are now with Plushenko shows
They're
in
all
Russia,
angels of
ice shows.
Plushenka, like
Yeah,
officially.
yeah, officially, yeah.
Now, Sherbakova about a year ago unfollowed Dubridza on social media. What is your
Yeah, I
thoughts on
think so.
her doing? She's traditionally an Averbuk skater, right? She's done
No,
some
she was no, she was at NAFKA.
Navka.
Okay, so for those who are not following Russian ice show market, we have, I think we've been talking about that already. We have Tatiana Navka, her shows. We have Ilya Averbuch and his shows. And actually, the ice show industry is pretty big in Russia. And we have Plushenko and his shows.
Yes.
Eteri Tudberidze has her show, but it's not like ice stories or like fairy tales on ice. It's not like Disney on ice. It's mainly her skaters doing the competition programs. It's another genre, I think, and
Yeah.
yeah, it's she's mainly doing that in spring off season.
It's a
So
shorter duration. These ones, they go during the winter, they're in the summer. Yeah.
yeah, in summer it's like big. It's the platform where skaters can earn a lot of money, and they do, and it's very profitable and it's very popular. So it's sold outs, and it doesn't seem to stop. I mean, I thought a year ago that the popularity will start declining, but actually it's still there.
I like the Navka finale. It's over the top. The costumes are crazy. And we introduce everyone as the Olympic team champions from the
It
Olympics.
it highly depends on the shows. Some of the shows do not do that. Some do.
Hmm.
Some announce Kamila Valieva as an Olympic champion. Some prefer not to do that. So very much depends on the show.
So which Plushenko show is Sherbakova doing? Do you know?
I think she's doing the Cinderella one,
Okay.
and she's going to be the fairy there, and it's going to happen in May in Belarus, in Minsk. But it was announced that she's going to be on another show next fall, I think. So it's pretty comprehensive cooperation.
So who's going to be Cinderella? Because they would have Trusova as a princess, and she's not the princess. Okay, she's not.
We don't know. This
Mhm.
hasn't been announced yet. There are some rumors that she's not going to take part in a number of shows, but we'll see that I think by April, we'll see that.
I just want to make sure that you have the right taste in Russian skating. Who is your favorite partner of Katsalapov?
Oh, you're gonna really you want to get me into trouble, right?
I need to know
Uh,
the real answer.
I mean, it's such a tragedy for international ice dance that Ilyanich and
Hmm.
Katsalapov, did not
Yes.
last long. But I heard that it's I mean, nobody wanted to be around when that partnership was active. I mean, Victoria Sinitsina is a great dancer, and I mean, she did so much, and she progressed so much. I mean, I think she's a very well-deserved silver medalist of the Olympic Games. So,
But you know
I
what's
mean,
happening today? It's the big
what?
day. Our favorite ice dancer, Madison Hubble, is performing with Gabriela.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. It happened an hour ago in Zurich, I think, in Switzerland. I saw some sneak peeks. It looks pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm excited. Okay, so we have a couple just odds and end questions to get you into this season. Have you seen Dune yet?
No. And I've seen it so much on the ice that I don't think I'm planning to. Seriously.
What is Dune
Uh,
about? It's sand and
Lots of sand, lots of Oriental music.
yeah.
I I know, I mean, many people are big fans of the book, like my husband, for instance. Many people love the movie, Dune 1, Dune 2, and expect very much anticipating Dune 3. Uh, but I just, it's not my type of
Mhm.
movie. I mean, Mandalorian and Star Wars was enough for
Yeah.
me. But I must say that like some Dune programs are really good this season, some are not,
Mm-hmm.
but some are like genius. Like look at Olivia Smart and Tim Dick. I
Yeah.
mean, it's just fantastic. When you see it in person, it's even more mesmerizing. It just, captures everybody's attention, the audience, the judges, media, and it's the unison and it's the like it's mesmerizing.
I did hear that the rumors from the judges meeting that happens after the competition was that the judges and the leaders of the ISU were particularly impressed by the Finnish free dance, Turkila, and Olivia Smart and Tim Deek, that they thought that those were the best two programs, and should
Yeah,
have.
they said that it was a very precise performance, and it was something that was by the book.
Mhm.
I mean, Tango by Turkila, by the Finnish team, is impeccable. I mean, the dance itself, Massimo Scali outdid himself. It was fantastic. It is fantastic. We'll see that in Boston. I have some questions about some, probably skating skills,
Mhm.
but the overall impact when you're there in the audience, it's good.
Mhm.
It's really good.
Yeah, I think that their patterns can sometimes be a little bit bigger and maybe have a little bit more power, but the actual skating is very precise.
Yes, precise is the exact word. Yeah.
I found, and they were very close in score with Olivia Smart and Tim Deek. I find that everything that Olivia does looks so big, right? She has very
Yes.
expansive limbs.
If I had to choose between those two dances, Dune will be my favorite
Mhm.
because of the way it's performed. I
Mhm.
mean, the original, if you look at the dance, like the pattern of the dance, like the very dance itself, like you can insert any other skaters in it. Probably tango is also like
Mhm.
very good. But when it comes to performance, Dune is, I mean, it captures you completely. You're
Mhm.
just there, stuck in your chair, and you cannot move. It's a very good dance, and I saw it actually in Nebelhorn in September,
It
and
was
it was
Kashmar and Nebelhorn. Isn't
it
that when
it
they
didn't
fell?
look it
Yeah.
didn't look that good at that time. The costumes were different. It looks, I would say, it looked cheaper.
Mhm.
Uh, but it was the very beginning of the season. They were not confident, but now, and I think it's getting better and better. Like many of the dances of the Montreal Academy, they get better by the season and by the worlds. We're going to see what actually was originally meant by the coaches. But I mean, everybody who has a chance to get a ticket and go to see the free dance in Boston, please do, because it's definitely worth watching live.
Yeah, I think that the program has gotten better with each competition, and it
Yep.
really has come alive, as well as
Yep.
Olivia's confidence. Do you think she looks better now
Oh,
than
she's
she?
a diva. She's a
Yeah.
diva now. Like when you see her on the ice, I mean, I haven't seen the movie, right? So I
Mhm.
don't know what's happening there on the ice, but I don't care because
Yeah.
I see this story that does not need to be explained. I think this is very important for the ice dance, for the free dance and ice dance. I don't need the to know what they actually wanted to say. I have to be able to come up with my own story, and this is what's happening.
Yeah. She kind of reminds me of the people's champion in many ways because she has kind of become the favorite of everyone this season in the free dance, like she
Yep.
was during the 2022 season.
Yes, with that Zorro free dance. I've spoken to her and I asked her, do you regret a bit that this is not your Olympic dance?
Mhm.
Because this is definitely, this deserves it, right?
Mhm.
But she said, okay, we kind of, we all understand that that's a good dance. Um, but at the same time, at the
Mhm.
same time, I'm sorry, it's just that something happened with my microphone, and
Oh,
I'm afraid that my it's going to be a little bit different now. I don't know, it keeps happening sometimes. But okay, I'll come back to no, it's here. It's again.
yeah, you're
It's
okay.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, just if something changes with the quality
Yes.
of the sound, people, I'm so sorry. It just,
Yes.
I don't go well with, with the way
Technology.
it
Yes.
happens here. Yeah. So coming back to Dune,
Mhm.
she said that actually they needed that dance to lift them, to elevate them, to be able to compete with the top teams.
Mhm.
And I think that it makes sense because if you look at them a year ago, European championship wise, they would have fought for, I don't know, top 10.
Mhm.
And now they were attacking the podium. So I think this dance actually did a lot for them. And even if it's not an Olympic one, it served like an elevator. Definitely they are noticed. Judges treat them seriously. So it's different.
Do you think the rhythm dance is strong enough?
Me personally, I love the story of Janis Joplin here.
Mm.
It's like a time machine. You see that you go to, I think it's Woodstock times, and you see that atmosphere, that vibe. The only problem is that, as far as I understand, the ISU this season really wanted the social dance.
Mm-hmm.
And the social dance is not what we see there a lot, right?
Yeah.
So I think this is where probably it's going to lose to some other dances. But for me, it's a masterpiece because I'm dragged into that era. I'm there, and those, I would never miss it because I never go to all. I always go to all the dance practices at competitions, and I would
Mhm.
never miss Olivia's.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how much they can climb by the worlds because the buzz is good about them. They are
The
moving.
buzz is really good. Everybody's talking about that, and I think that helps them because judges also talk about them. So, it helps.
Unfortunately, the team that I think is moving down, which we did not expect, but now it's really is Lila and Lewis. They had some early season wins, but without huge scores. Um, and they seem to have not been making, they've not been improving as rapidly as teams behind them, like Olivia and Tim have been. They don't have kind of the
And Finns, actually, at
pace.
Finns
Yeah.
as well. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think to me, I think the big mistake of this season is the free dance to Beyonce was just not very exciting. The music was kind of
It was
old.
planned for Boston. You do
Yeah,
realize that, right?
I do. To me, anyone that planned the Beyonce programs, they've been misses this season. Deanna's short program has not been as good as her short program last year. This free dance to
You think
me,
Beyonce has something to do with that?
um, I was at the last Boston Worlds, okay, and people didn't pick these big American songs necessarily to appeal to a Boston crowd. Like there was just phenomenal skating across the board. I mean, the French did To Build a
No,
Home
no.
and yeah.
This season, we definitely see that many teams they have this in mind,
Mhm.
like Sarah Everhard having an Irish
Mhm.
dance. We have what else? Isabel, who
Yeah.
decided to do breakfast at Tiffany's. And actually, many skaters, now it slips my mind, but many skaters shared in interviews with me that, the worlds are in Boston. So we wanted to give the home crowd something like iconic,
Mhm.
some iconic American things. So I don't know.
Maybe it says something about American culture. I don't know, but I just I don't think that the Fear and Gibson free dance was that creative. They've had more creative programs. I thought their Gaga was more creative. I think the actual choreography is just
I think it's a little bit
expected.
considered like something we've already seen from them.
Yes.
They doing when the last half of the last third, I think, last part of the dance where they do this crazy
Mhm.
by Beyonce, it's gonna look, I mean, everybody gonna stand up in
Yes.
TD Garden, no doubt. And I believe in the genius of Romain Agenauer. He
Mhm.
knows what he's doing. Look at French team, Lopareva and Brissot. I mean, that rhythm dance, all those Russians. I mean, it was questioned at the beginning of the season, but it hits the crowd so much, and everybody's dancing, and nobody pays attention to the final, phrase of the dance. So I believe in him, and I think that he knows what he's doing, and we'll see how Beyonce will sound in Boston. But I mean, obviously, Lila and Luz, they came to Tallinn to fight for the title, and they were pretty open about that. I love this about them. They're ambitious and they do not hide it. And they say that actually we're here to fight for gold. I
Mhm.
mean, bronze is definitely not what they expected. And to be honest, before going to Tallinn, I was having thoughts that probably we'll have four new European champions in pairs, and in women, we definitely had to get new champions because the reigning European champions were absent, Luna and the Italian pair team. Uh, but also, I had thoughts that probably in ice dance,
Mhm.
Lila and Lewis could do that. But they had a mistake in the rhythm dance that
Mhm.
also mattered, and their coaching team was pretty obvious, open that, you know, if you want to fight for gold, you have to have two impeccable dances at the championship of that level. So I'm sure they will regroup. I'm sure they'll keep attacking. That's for sure.
It's funny. They've always been a very consistent team over, you know, except this season. I mean, we're split at the very
Oh,
highest,
they've been having a great season.
except if you pay close attention, they've been a little bit tighter at the Grand Prix final and here, right? To have these little mistakes are creeping in. They're not
Because
feeling well.
titles are just around the corner,
Yes.
right? You
Yeah.
kind of you start believing in that. Last season you were fighting for the podium. This
Mhm.
season you're giving ideas that, I mean, and you believe in yourself and you start thinking that probably I can fight for silver, I can fight for gold. Of course you start getting more nervous because before that you have nothing to lose. Like I've spoken to Lukas Britschgi, the new European champion in men, and he was eighth up to the short program and he got gold up to the free, and he's like, the only chance I had was to attack. I mean, I
Mhm.
had nothing to lose. When you go from eighth, you pretty open. I mean, you can attack and not hold back to what you probably have as a small medal from the short program. And probably it's easier this way. But for Lila and Deuce, I mean, the ambitions are still there, and you will see them in Boston, that's for sure.
Yeah, I'm curious what you make. I enjoy them as a team. I find them a lot of fun. I find them very appealing. I will say I
They're a
don't,
pleasure to talk to, that's for
yes,
sure.
I don't enjoy the Italians artistically, but and I don't know who their programs appeal to, I have to say, but the skating skills, when you put them next to
Oh,
Lila,
thank you.
you know,
They
it's
are fantastic.
do you think it's are Lila and Lewis too far away from the podium going into Boston at this point?
Oh no. Oh no, they can definitely attack the podium. And one of those four teams there around the podium now will
Mhm.
have to lose the spot on the podium. And I wonder who that would be, because the position of Piper and Paul seem pretty solid. Madison Chuck and Evan Bates, we shouldn't even discuss that. And we have Italians and we have the Brits, and there are only three,
Mhm.
you know, steps on that podium. It's not like US nationals. I wonder why, actually. Four would be more fair.
Oh, but the Peter medal. But I wonder how much losing to the Europeans will hurt them politically. I think obviously they'll try to regroup before Boston and get in, phenomenal confidence.
Definitely. They will work like
Mhm.
Lila is such a workaholic, again, together with Lewis. I think they will just move to the rink and live there now. But, don't forget that next year Europeans is in Sheffield in the
Mhm.
UK. So they will be attacking the top position there. And that's the Olympic season. But of course, the situation would have been
Do you know who's
different if they
no?
could. Huh?
Do you know who's from Sheffield?
Christopher Dean?
Olivia Smart.
Ah, Olivia Smart, of
Skated
course. Yeah,
at the
yeah,
rink. Okay, Maya. Like
yeah.
we keep saying that the Europeans are going to be in Sheffield, Lila and Lewis, and I started to think maybe Olivia. You know,
I mean, to be honest, I had
let's
some
not
ideas
pretend
about
she's
her
Spanish.
fighting for bronze.
I think you have more Duolingo points for any language than Olivia does.
They are working on their Spanish skills together with Tim, and I'm so happy and grateful for Spanish Federation for
Yeah.
having them there on the circuit, because I
Yes.
mean they're such a pleasure to watch. I'm very grateful, and I mean if they were for the UK team, we would
Mhm.
have a big rivalry now.
Yes. No, I love it. And I like both. But you actually told me something on the phone that I wanted you to share because I haven't seen it reported because listen, everything has been all about what happened with the US team. But you told me a nice story that there was a collision in practice between,
That's not a nice story.
yes, it was a nice story because you said that Olivia was so
Oh
great
yeah, yeah,
with
yeah. In
Louisa.
terms of that, yeah, I mean, she's a queen.
You
Okay,
said she was
just
a
she
queen
is the
and she was a
queen.
genuine
Yeah, I'll tell you
person.
the story. Yeah, yeah, I'll tell you the story. It was a dance practice at the practice rink, not at the main arena, and there was a collision. It was one of those. I think it was on Wednesday, the second day of dance practices, where the groups are being when the ice dancers are being grouped not according to the rating, but geographically, like all French teams in one group and etc. So there was a group with the Israeli team, Kilikov and Elizabeth Tkachenko, Alexei Kilikov and Elizabeth Tkachenko, and there was Olivia and Tim there. And it was not their run through. I think it was Tashlers who were
Mhm.
skating their rhythm dance. And the Spanish team and the Israeli team, they were both doing, I think it was partial or something, like they were doing something and they were approaching each other with the back. They were skating backwards and nobody saw each other. It was not like nobody's fault. And there was a collision. It looked pretty bad. I mean, very high speed, and everybody was on the ice immediately, like laying on the ice there. And it was obvious that Alexei's, I mean, is injured, and doctors were with him and coaches were with him. What Olivia did, she got Elizabeth, grabbed her by her hand, and started skating around the rink, just, distracting her, focusing on her. And it's like, because Elizabeth was such in a state of shock. And Olivia, I mean, she fell herself. And I think it was not a very, like, there's definitely, it was, I mean, it was, at least it was painful for her, like a lot. And coaches were busy with Tim because Tim was injured a little bit, heavier than Olivia. But Olivia was all about Elizabeth. She was such a queen. She was taking such a good care of her. She was there. She was supporting. She was like, it was an instinct reaction. It was not like something that she had to think of. It was just, I'm here to help. Here I am. I mean, cheers to her. She's fantastic.
Did anything else stand out in the ice stands out? How do you like Marie-France's hair and her look this season? Is it as winning as we've seen before?
She's like a red carpet look. She looks
Yes.
pretty trendy and fashionable, like a fashion icon. Oh, actually, I saw Jean-Luc Baker there. That's
Oh,
also about ice dance. She came there to support Olivia, and we
yes.
had a little chat. And he was there, and he was very, involved. He was at all the dance practices. It was very sweet to see him there because it was like, oh, is that the U.S. nationals here? But it was a
We,
positive, good surprise.
we're becoming big fans of him. For some reason, NBC only has him provide commentary for the practices at nationals.
Yeah, I
He's
think, yeah.
he's very enthusiastic and knowledgeable. If you watch on Peacock, we need to get you a VPN so you can watch with us during the day. So,
He actually, I watched that once they publish it on YouTube,
mhm,
right after they do
yeah,
it live. And he said, we talked about that, and he said he really and truly enjoys it. And he says that he feels very, free and open to express what he thinks because it's practice commentary. But he truly enjoys it.
yeah. I hope that they'll put him on TV for next year. He's so good.
He's
He
good. He's
deserves
so
it.
good. He understands what he's talking about. He's respectful. And at the same time, we don't hear this constant, amazing, beautiful, because he really says what's happening there on the ice. Because, I mean, I respect all the commentators, but if you hear only this amazing, amazing, then how can you, say who's better?
Yeah,
Then everybody's amazing, everybody's beautiful. And Jean-Luc he knows how to do it very respectfully, but to underline the strengths of each team. I mean, it's very professional.
so there's going to be the show, obviously, beginning of March for the U.S. team to raise money for the
Yeah,
fund of the families.
March the 2nd
Yes,
in
I have a couple
Washington
requests.
Capitals, I think.
You
Huh?
know, Ilya's going to be in it. I mean, I imagine it'll be very Artisakarian and Mike Berg. They work together on these shows. Hopefully, Ilya won't do the hoodie program, but you never know. But I want to see John Luke Baker and Caitlin Hawayak do their free dance that we never saw them perform last year. They could do a modified version, the one that's on
Yeah.
YouTube. The I Found You. Maya, we need to see.
I was crying. I was crying when I watched it for the first time. And I think they were crying as well. And you can see that because Jordan, who filmed that, I think he was crying as well. That would be a great idea because it's a very meaningful and very lyrical and very powerful program. I would
Yeah.
love to watch it. Yeah, of course.
Yes. So we need this. Who else do you want to see in this show? I think,
I think everybody gonna be there, right?
yeah, they need to
So
bring Richard Dwyer. They brought him out the last time Worlds were in Boston. He still skates every day. I think we need to see him because he is the continuity of skating. He was around for the last plane crash. So I think we need him there and just as a figure.
I know it's going to be Katerina Gordeeva there, Ilya Kulik. Ari also mentioned Nathan Chen.
Mhm.
So it's going to be big names there, and somebody from the history of U.S. figure skating, going to be there as well. They're going to publish more names soon. But I think that I cannot call it a show. This evening on
Mhm.
the ice will be also like a synergy of basketball,
Mm,
hockey, NHL, NBA, WNBA. I think it's gonna be a very big American thing, like a national thing, more than a figure skating gala.
mm.
But I think that's a chance for the US figure skating family, a unique chance. I don't think that ever happened before. Like all the generations be on the same ice. That's something historical.
It would be nice if they invited Deanna and Max. She is American, even though she is, representing Canada. But I think her personal story stuff it would be powerful to see her there as well. But we'll have to see what they do. I'm not holding my breath for them to be, so equivocal. But this is hopefully that would be a good person, and either Piper and Paul as well, because she's American, and to show the
It
support.
depends what the US Fed thinks about that. And I think it's going to be so many people who would love to be on the ice.
Yeah.
And it's only a 2 hour show. So I don't know.
Also, Shishkova and Naumov had a student. I think he won juvenile at the sectionals, who was just wonderful. Like he was just such an up and comer. So I hope that they invite some of the younger kids as well. I wanted to talk to you about the pairs because as we're talking about
Yeah.
Dieta, the German team is kind of the favorite going into Worlds right now,
Oh,
but
they're good. Oh, they're good. They
they're
progress
good.
so much. Yeah, Nikita and Minerva, both they're flourishing. It's like I cannot even imagine what would happen, what would have happened if this team did not, team up.
Mhm.
They're good. He's very solid. He's a good partner. A good partner in pairs is when you actually look only at the girl, and
Mhm.
so much is done by a boy, but a good partner is always like at the background, and Nikita is very good at that. He's solid. I've spoken to both of them a number of times, and she says that she feels so safe,
Mhm.
and she never thought she would be competing at this level, aiming for those titles before. So it seems to be a pretty happy skating relationship.
Okay, they make me believe that we do need Mishina and Galyamov back because they're very
Oh,
nice. I find them very boring. I have to tell you, like they're a little bit dry for me. It's yeah,
it's just their second season together. I think they are fighting for so much on the ice
they are
that they
very good.
cannot.
They are very, but it's element.
They're
Yeah.
still struggling, and they're still looking for some chemistry, and they're still working on some pair, elements. Um, I think that once they're confident with what they're doing on the ice, you will see more because it's already like in the short program, it's already coming out. And next season, they will have more interesting programs.
I'm hoping so because I'm
Yeah,
not.
I
You
can
know,
assure you.
I want to see Berezhna and Sigrolidze. I want to see that kind of skating.
They have a very good potential of skating like Berezhna and Sekharulidze. They are very like it's in a good sense. It's a Russian school of pair skating that you see there, with a modern twist.
Mhm.
Um, I really like it, and Minerva is incredible. She's doing so much. I mean, progression is what I would say about them if you had to choose only one word.
I think they're very consistent. I think they have very clean technique when you watch them.
They
I
just
think
need more confidence and more, Mission and Galamov, they're skating very relaxed. Look at the Japanese team, pair team. They are skating effortlessly. You can hardly believe it costs them anything in terms of physical, effort. They're just there on the ice. You believe their story. But this unison is something all pair teams should be, trying to, achieve. But I mean, Pearfield is interesting now. If Mission Galamov are back as the team nominated and approved by the ISU, it's going to spice up the pair competition field.
well, how about the British team here? Because this team was really, I think, surprised a lot of people with how well that they did at this championship. They had a plus start, if you will. They really they shone. They were
I
shining.
love them. I love them. They also had a very nasty fall at
Mm.
practice. It was from the high lift. Anastasia fell from the very, very top. And it looked so scary. I was there and it looked so bad. She was there on the ice, not moving for, I would say, I don't know, 10 seconds. The paramedics were on the ice. But then she stood up and
Mhm.
she started, skating. And then she did a couple of throws And she did that lift again. And then the same evening, she got a medal. Oh, no,
Mhm.
not a medal. Almost she got a medal. She was in top 5 at the Europeans. You see, I say a medal because
Yes.
it was still a breakthrough result. I spoke
Yeah.
to them and I said, if somebody told you in September that you would be, top 5 at Europeans, she's like, oh, that would have been a joke. We aimed for top 10,
Mhm.
ideally top 8. They're good. They look good. They have to work on some technical content, obviously, but they're a pleasure to watch. For a pair skating team, it's very important because they know how to deliver a performance. I love the costumes for the short program. They're very good, done by Matthew Caron, the green ones. This is also a team I would advise not to miss at Worlds because it's a new team for many people who are not watching pair events closely and mainly watching the top warm-up group. But the Brits are definitely there to watch.
Mhm. Well, how about the women at this competition? Because this was interesting. Without Luna, it was open, trying to have a tight competition between Petrõkina, Pinzeroni, Gubanova, Kimi Rapond, big
Yeah,
name.
Kimi was considered to be one of the favorites, and
Yeah.
ISU actually published when it published the those who can become a European champion. ISU published Kimi. Uh, yes, it was interesting because I mean, that title was open.
Mhm.
Everybody could, not everybody, but too many skaters could get it. There was no favorite. Actually, I love this about this European Championship is that, like, even in the ice dance, as we discussed, we couldn't predict the podium.
Mhm.
I mean, we could probably, in ice dance, we could probably predict the teams, but not actually all of them. And in women, it could go like any direction. Anybody could get the title from the top, I would say top 6, top 8. Um, I love Nina Pinzarone's programs the most.
Yes. And are you a
The one
Benoit fan? We know you're a Mettu Caron fan. We know that you like the Gabois School of Ice, and you're an Alabama fan. Are you a fan?
I
Are
I
you
love many programs of Benoit Richaud. When they
really?
suit the
Which
when
one? Which ones?
I love the Pinzarones ones
I like
because
this free
they
skate.
were meaningful. Like the her free dance was meaningful. You look at them, you look at the program, and you understand why she's on the ice.
It's the
She
first time
is
choreographed for a woman who's a single skater, where I really thought he made her look beautiful and elegant, right? Because
elegant, beautiful. The lines, yeah,
yeah,
all of this is being said about Nina. I mean, she had problems with under rotations, and she was very strictly judged at this tournament. But I mean, she's
should she make a
young and
hoodie about these calls, or
I hope not. But this particular Benoit program
Mhm.
really suits her. It becomes her. She looks really good, and it looks natural. It's not like she wears somebody's coat.
Yeah,
Sometimes a program can look like somebody borrowed a dress,
yeah.
and you can see that. Um, like what other programs I like? I like Adam's programs actually because it's something that is
When he
different.
lays on the ice, I mean, it's campy, right? Like it's entertaining.
Um, I think it can. I mean, it's definitely allowed and it's definitely different. Why not? If everybody's want to skate the same way, it's going to be boring, right?
He did a program that Alyssa Sisney and Senya Panorama did together for Ice Dance International once that I liked, to Spiegel and Spiegel. But usually I'm not the biggest fan of Benoit and his
Oh,
avant-garde.
by the way, have you noticed that Adam did not do a backflip in his short program?
I did
I
notice
think,
that.
yeah, I
Yes.
think it's because it's a little bit not trendy anymore. It's not because of his injury, recent injury with his like ankle problems, because he still did it in his free. But in short, he said that actually they came up with some slide, interesting one, and they decided not to do a backflip.
Yeah. I wonder what you think of Kimi Rapon. To me, I think she's falling a little bit behind. She has very long limbs, but they're never extended and stretched. And
I think she's in the middle of a growing process. I'm sorry that I keep interrupting you. Sorry, it's just that I have so much to tell about
there's so much to say.
after
Yes.
coming to Tallinn
I'm
because
not
it was a
mad.
great
Yeah. I'm
it was a great competition. Kimmy is still struggling, I think, with her height and adjusting to her height because she is tall.
Mhm.
Um, she definitely needs to work on those, legs and arms being fully extended. You know what I mean? It's beautiful lines, but so far she looks a little bit like a very cute Bambi on ice, because sometimes it's like you can see that she's fighting for a jump.
Yes.
And when a skater is fighting for a jump, it affects the impression, you have from the program.
I also think the Now We Are Free music from Gladiator has been so overdone and is not.
But you know how it happens sometimes. Skaters, they dream about skating this particular music. Like,
what's your music, Maya? What is your music that you want to skate to?
Oh, I don't know. I love David Bowie and Radiohead, but thank
For
God
a
I'm not
free
a skater.
program? I mean, you're gonna say to David, but that's a rhythm dance, Maya.
Yeah, but I mean, Madison Chalk did that, right? I don't. Thank God I'm not an ice dancer or a figure skater, because I think that the songs I love, they probably would look bad
Come on,
on the
couldn't you
ice.
imagine yourself, Team Tudbridza, like starting the program, doing like some miming,
Oh, I would have been expelled from her team, from her school, like at the age of 5, because I'm too lazy. Seriously, I feel so sorry for myself sometimes that I would never last there. But coming back to Europeans, so we were talking about Adam.
No, we were starting to talk about Kimi Rapond.
Kimi, yeah, Kimi, yeah.
But yeah, I also wanted to ask you, because I know you're a Mathieu Caron fan, did he do Nina's dress? Because it looks
the one, yeah,
the red. The red is and it reminds me of Papadakis Moonlight Sonata, but with like a shorter skirt and a similar silhouette. I didn't know if he did.
I don't think it was him doing that dress, but I respect Matthew for, he knows how to make a specific dress for this specific skater. It's not like he's having like some universal stuff for everyone, which I like about him. But actually, Nina has even a better dress, the one she skated at the Gala, the Bordeaux, like the red wine color. It's really exquisite. It's very interesting. I mean, it's nice.
And what do you make of our winner, Niina Petrõkina, hometown girl winning in Estonia?
It was a very confident performance. I mean, first of all, it's such a pleasure and a lucky ticket for any skater to win like that in front of your home crowd. I mean, she was very powerful. She was very confident. She was there. Like, you believe that she deserves to win because she was, I mean, she was there on the ice. You can feel her presence. She was not small. You know what I say? You know what I mean by being small on the ice? No, she wasn't. She fell. She had a very stupid fall off the element, and she said that it actually allowed her to regroup. It's like, okay, usually I have one stumble at at every program, and that was it.
Crossover. She fell just going forward.
Yeah, it was just but she wanted, I think she wanted to win. She said that Tallinn was not supposed to host this Europeans. They were just chosen, I think, last June or May, because
they are always the replacement athlete for any
it's a replacement, because Croatia, that won this competition, refused to host it. And Nina told me that once she got the information, that the news that Tallinn is going to host it, she's like, oh, there is a chance. I should fight for the podium. And that happened. I mean, she was there, she was ready, her jumps were solid. I mean, home crowds sometimes can be too much, can be overwhelming, but it did not happen to her. She looked pretty confident. Again, I'm using this word over and over again, but this is what it felt like. I spoke to her in Finland, I think, a Grand Prix event in Helsinki, and it was not very successful. And she was like, I don't know what's happening, but I cannot control my head. And I know that once I control it, everything's going to be fine, because technically I'm ready. And this is what happened in Tallinn. She was ready, and mentally and physically, both mentally and physically. So, I mean, it's a well-deserved victory. I would say that it's a little bit probably too many points, like a home bonus was there, but even without that home bonus, she would have been a winner anyway.
A little chanflation, if you will. But I want to ask about the Italian team, because there are two strong females.
Pairs or dance?
No, ladies.
Oh, ladies, sorry.
They have two
team.
great
When you say
skaters.
Team, I say thinking
no, like two great skaters.
Yeah,
Lara,
Anna and Lara Naki. Yeah.
And they're kind of opposites. One is all power and jumps, and the other is all kind of artistry and elegant love for skating.
I think that Italy is getting ready for the home Olympics. That's
Yes.
for sure. And ladies, they get stronger and stronger,
Mhm.
and they're now, you know, they're talking about even podiums at some
Mhm.
events. And it's good for the team and for the ambitions for the team medal for Italy, because ladies were their weakest field, was their weakest field. Um, I like both Italian girls because they're different and because
Yeah.
they're new and because they really love what they're doing. It's so genuine.
Hmm.
It's like when you see them, you believe them. It's not like there are some skaters that you see that are so tired of skating and it's not their probably, if it was for them, probably they wouldn't have been here. But it's not about with those two girls, they love it.
Hmm. How concerned should the US be about Italy and this team? Because my calculations, Italy's getting very
Oh,
close.
so you think they can fight for gold?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Excuse
you're
me, Maya. You
you're
watched Russia.
optimistic.
You watched the American Nationals, correct?
Yes, of course I did. It
Who's
was
going to
very
be?
early in the morning here, and I still
And
watched it.
which
Yeah,
pair do you think is, Efimova and Mitrofanov? We don't know about their citizenship. It seems
yeah. The
mathematical.
passport situation doesn't seem to be very favorable. Yeah.
Yes, unless I don't know what they could do with President Trump, but it doesn't seem favorable. So I think you probably saw Camp and O'Shea's. You were at Nebelhorn, and then you saw
Yeah.
here Olympic team pressure, gold medal on the line.
Yeah, but it's a team effort, right? So actually, your pair can just, stand there on the ice, and I think you will still get gold.
I don't know. I know that you're a big Karen Chen fan for the team medal, but gold medalist. But I'm concerned. I think
You
Italy.
have Ilya, you have Madison and Evan. I
We also have
mean,
Amber. You never know what you're gonna
you
get.
have, yeah, I know, but you have Amber, you have probably Alice. I wouldn't know who you're going to nominate, right, for the Olympic team. But I think that US team has pretty good chances for the gold medal.
You.
At the same time, I think that Japan can fight with you
Hmm.
for that. But I mean, it's going to be interesting. I love when it's getting interesting
And
about the
Italy
team
can
medal.
fight, I think.
There's also Georgia. I think that they can do
I don't know.
good
It's
in
Mary's
terms of.
not being a very good mother with this dance team. I thought she was gonna, call up some friends more, but I'm not happy with the program. I'm not happy with the skating. Diana's always on
Uh,
picks.
it's their first season in Montreal. There's so
Taught
much they're
Diana her
working on.
skating skills because, she has a lot to catch up on in Montreal. Patrice and Roman can't do everything.
Yes, but they're working on everything at the same time. Now, when when a skater switches coaching teams, everybody like Brian Orser, like everybody keeps saying that we need at least 2 seasons to start seeing all the changes. Not all the changes, at least some of the changes. And I think the pressure is so high now. Everybody's like, okay, Diana and Gleb, what's your improvements? But it takes some time, and they are not the only team there, and that's cool. And next season is the Olympic season, and the priorities will not be Diana and Gleb, I think. But I mean, they're working a lot. Coaches are working with them on all the aspects, and I think we should wait a little bit. They're definitely not the contenders. How you say that? It's late at
Contenders.
night here. Contenders for the podium at the moment, but they're very ambitious and they're hard workers. So we'll see how it goes. So far, they also were not that big on the ice. They were a little bit small and looking so much and thinking probably too much about some technical aspects. But I see that something may change there.
Do you think Annabelle Morozov should go back to Russia? I'm thinking yes. I've liked other partners. She's
I
a
don't think
year.
so. I don't think she's coming back because I mean, in Russia, she will. What chances will she have for making a national team? Not higher than in the US. I mean,
We could get her a different boy for Russia. Nikolai has no problem getting her a new
I
partner.
was a little bit disappointed with what I saw because when you see a
Little.
Star Wars program being substituted by Rachmaninoff, just in terms of music and everything else, stays the same. Um, the result, the what I saw on the ice, she's good. I like her and she's very beautiful, but something is not working there at the moment. I don't know. I'm sure that, Nikolai has a plan, but so far it doesn't look very promising.
I think I preferred her. Well, I saw videos of practice with Eremenka. I think she looked the best with Narishny when they did
So
the.
much passion.
Yes, yeah, it was better. It was
A
better.
little bit of Alienich vibe, right?
Yes, this is on board, and
This is what you miss, right?
yes, the sport needs it. Absolutna. You know, this is
Yeah.
you need Ilinich doing anything on the ice. Her Schindler's List, her
Yeah.
Swan Lake. Yes.
Yeah, I
Also,
was a big fan of that team, that's for sure.
yeah. Also, you talked about getting kicked out of a Terry school last season. Someone
Like
was
me, if I were there?
yes, you would be
Oh
kicked.
yeah, that's what that I'm not even sure that I would have made it there.
I'm a pleaser. I would do what she says. But what about this girl who got kicked out because she had two yogurts instead of one? So now she's an angel of Plushenka? What is the story
Now
here?
that's a rumor story. They say that it happened some years ago at I think it was at the novice camp, summer camp. We have it like you have a champs camp,
Hmm.
and we have something like that in Novogorsk. Novogorsk is the Olympic base for many Russian athletes from different sports, not only figure skating. And there were a number of girls there from a Terry school. And it is said by Elena Kostelova's mom. So this is the only source we know, because thank God the second side of the story, Margarita Baziluk and her parents are not talking about that. But she kind of said that, there was some kind of incident in the canteen that one of the girls asked the other to get a extra yogurt for her, but when they got, caught with too many yogurts on their plates, the other one said, no, 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 it's not mine, even though it was her who asked for yogurt. I mean, this is so ridiculous even to talk about that. But this story goes by as a yogurt story now, because Margarita Baziluk and Elena Kostelova are two rivals now in Russian juniors, and there is the Russian Junior Championship happening right now. Actually, today was the day of the short programs, and Kostelova is number one, and Baziluk is right behind her by some very, hundreds of a point. They both are very strong. They both did triple axel combo in their short. But I'm afraid that this yogurt story is going to follow them wherever they go.
Well, I think even though she eats too much yogurt, Kostylova, I think she's a little bit more character on the ice, a little bit more personality. She's more interesting to me. I know Basiliuk is the jumps. We
Um,
love the jumps in Russia, but I think she's more interesting for me to.
I'm not a very big fan of juniors skating in
Yeah,
general.
you never have been. You know,
You're such a big fan of Arseny Fedorov and all the others, Lev
I watched
Lazarev, and
Boyeva when she
you
was a
know all those Russian
novice.
juniors.
I knew her as a novice.
Yeah, yeah, I think it was like even before
She was being
that.
coached by Razanov with Daria Usashova doing the Dracula program. Like we go way back. Okay, don't.
No, it's just that there's so much happening in the adults field and like junior field.
Not that much is happening in the Russia adults field. I watch the Russian nationals.
No,
You
there is a lot. Like Russian men, again, let me be the advocate of Russian men. It's way more interesting that a number of big senior international competitions, like at the moment. It's big. It's like Hunger Games.
oh
We have
please.
10.
No, it's
Yes, it
not.
is.
Is
Yes, it
not.
is. Yes, it is.
No,
How
Kondratyuk
many?
like won the short program. He looks like he's from the village when he is skating, and then like the free program he falls like 17 times. Like,
It's good that we have so many different,
you know what? I will give you
flowers.
Russian skating is interesting, right? You have Semenenko who had the concussion on the ice, that the worst fall I've ever
No,
seen.
but that was like a number. No, no, we're talking about this season. Don't go into history of Russian
You know
men's
what I like?
skating.
We have the girl who went missing, and she's one of the top competitors for your Olympic team with the same coach that she ran away from. Like, this is entertainment.
I
Okay.
think that that story was a little bit more complicated. That we, it's not funny. It's way more complicated because that coach is living with her at the same time as she's coaching her, and it's she substituted her like she's how you say that
Maternal,
mother role mother.
maternal role. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, she does a lot for this girl. At the same time, she's pretty strict as a coach. I think it's tough and complicated, but Alina Gorbachova, the girl we're talking about, is now one of the contenders, definitely for the Olympic team. She's considered to be one of the candidates. Um, let's again stick to this
Okay.
particular season. Men
Okay.
are good. Watch them.
I wasn't that interested in the women, you know? After you see Valyeva rip off her hood, like what's,
Uh,
you know, like
Now I don't understand you. Many foreigners kept saying that, okay, where is beautiful feminine skating in
yes.
Russian women field? Now we have Ksenia Sinitsina, Anna Frolova, Ksenia Gushina, a number of other girls who are
We don't
skating
have like the
beautifully.
character that we're used to, you know, not the
So you
same.
want the character, and at the same
Oh,
time you want
yes.
the everything else, like in one full
Come
package.
on. After you give us Elena Rodionova, where's there to go, right? Like
You
Rodionova.
know, I always thought, even at the times of multi-quad programs, that Russian, oh, that not Russian, but like women's skating for me has
Mhm.
always been one of the most boring disciplines. I know that not many people many people support me in this, but for me, like pairs are more exciting. Ice dance is the best
So
for
in
me.
America, on the message boards, they used to, many years ago, you know, it was called the ladies discipline. Now it's the women, right? But it was
Yeah,
called the
yeah,
ladies with an S, right? But they
yeah.
used to spell it with three Z's because when you said that someone's sleeping in
Yes, ladies. Okay,
these,
yeah, we have the same, like in Russian we have the word унылая, which
Mhm.
is a little bit like kind of boring and sleepy. But I mean, it's nothing personal to those skaters. It's just that um it's so the same, and it's always been for me. I mean, I love many skaters and they're interesting in their programs, but if I had to choose which discipline to miss, like imagine you're flying and you have to pick a time for your flight, that would be women discipline, I'm afraid.
Well, except for Josephine, right? She got so much praise.
The Swedish girl, the Telegard.
Yes, Hildegard. Yes,
First of all, she's not Josephine, she's Josephine.
Josephine. Sorry. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm
Uh, she is incredible. Just incredible. She is so smart. She is so nice in mixed zone. I have this problem. I keep, many skaters are so nice. Like when you personally talk to them, then you
Mhm.
start feeling like, I mean, you start supporting them on the ice as well. But Yosvin is so good and so free and so confident, then you actually start supporting her even without knowing her personally. But she's so super nice in the mix zone, and she's so, I mean, you always want to hug her, and uh, I mean, she's great, and I really want her to get that technical minimum.
Yeah. Okay. Now let's move on to the men because, as usual, this was a very
Europeans.
yes.
Okay.
Kevin Amos was competing here. Maya, we saw him make the grand
Oh.
final. What is your take on that situation? He said that he did a clean program the day before in practice. I don't know if you were at
Yes. Yeah,
practices.
yeah, yeah. He said, no. He did that. And he said that it's just Europeans is not his tournament because it's always bad timing. He does the clean program in practice, and he fails the real run through, the real program, the competition. He didn't look very okay.
Hmm.
He was saying that he's fine. Both days, actually, he came out and spoke to the media,
Hmm.
which was good. I always appreciate that because it takes some courage and it takes some, strength for a
Hmm.
figure skater after you fail a program to go out and speak and answer those questions. Okay, how was the skate today? Today, what happened? Because very often they don't know what happened. It was just, a mystery for them as well. He was there. He was answering all the questions. He said that he's very grateful for the support. It just doesn't go his way, but he knows he wants to come back and start practicing. Actually, after the short program, he said that after one of the falls, after the fall, he said that I had a feeling that it's better that I don't qualify for the free, so I come back to the rink as soon as possible and start practicing because I still love figure skating. I love being there. Um, I just wish he finds some peace of mind and he finds the way to control his emotions, because so far when you see him skating, sometimes you're not sure if he's going to continue and he's going to make it through the, until the end of the program. uh, he's fighting better now than he was in September at some French national tournament. uh, it's just that it's not enough.
Hmm.
And I mean, he's such a pleasure to watch. I mean, even if he falls, the audience always supports him. And I hope he regroups until the Worlds, and we'll see, different Kevin.
Yeah, I hope he can get it together for next season to at least give a good performance to, end his career on a good note. I do worry about, professional opportunities if he should have maybe already, moved on, but we'll have to see. The one thing with him is he can skate brilliantly, and the next time he's almost lost in the air when he's skating with some of the fall.
As if something happens, as if somebody's pushing a button and he loses it. Yeah, I know, but
And it's
it's
concerning
Kevin.
because it looks like he could get badly injured, and I think that is kind of the
Yeah,
concern.
but he's a very experienced skater, and I don't think that something bad can happen.
Usually when you're experienced, the fall, you know how to protect yourself more, and sometimes it doesn't appear, how in control.
I just think that everything is here.
Of course.
And the problem is here because he's very well trained. He knows he can do the clean program. It's just, something is not clicking.
Yeah. How about Adam Siohimfa? I mean, he's had an ankle injury. He hasn't been. I mean, he's had injuries in the past. This has not been his ideal start to the season. He appears almost to throw his body in the air. He's so determined at times. His technique is not classical. I'll put it that way. But he's very powerful, exciting to watch. What's your take on, his status?
He says that he is not at his peak of his shape. It's definitely not 100% of Adam Siohimfa that we saw in Tallinn. Actually, he said that he started practicing only 3 weeks before the competition, and he's not ready at full swing. And he plans to go to another minor event before the Worlds because he missed competing, and he needs to, find that confidence in competition again. He said such a funny thing. Now at the big events, they introduce skaters one by one, not like 5 skaters standing on the ice simultaneously and, they're being announced. But then there is a curtain, a very theatrical red carpet thing. And then one by one, they run out of that curtain on the ice. And he said that actually he loves this new thing. But at the same time, he's always so scared of falling on that carpet while running. And he has to concentrate on that even more than on his jumps during the program. But I think it's going to also be happening in Boston. Also, we're going to have lots of LED screens on the boards in Boston as well. So it's going to be like a change in presentation, more like a Grand Prix final that we saw in Grenoble in France. So it can be interesting. So coming back to Adam, he is slowly building up and, gaining back his confidence, and he's still not that Adam that we saw last season. But injury, obviously, there was a big impact of that injury that we saw on the ice. I want him to do good. Like, I cannot say I'm his fan, like personal fan, but I really want to see 2 fantastic programs in Boston. Like, I want Adam to be happy about how he skated because his Dune is good and he enjoys it. And actually his short program is also, I mean, the one he kind of seems to getting, to stick into the SOS is also, it's nice to watch. It's like something that I would not like skip watching on YouTube if I'm not there and not miss watching in person. And I want some rivalry. I want him.
When he lays on the ice and the heartbeat goes. I mean, it's the most French thing we've seen this season.
Yeah, but it's different, right?
Yes.
If everybody was the same, it wouldn't be interesting to watch. So, okay, French thing on the ice, perfect. Give me more.
Yes. Dick Button said the French are always left of center, is how he used to describe them. So, some of the other boys, Daniel Grossel was not good at this championship, but Memela really, had.
Oh, he was good. You know how tall he is?
How tall?
He is 1 meter 96 centimeters. I don't know what that in the American units, but that's like tall. When I speak to him and he is on his skates, I'm standing like this. And like when I say something, when I'm going live, like with my TV stations, I say like they ask me, what was the look in his eyes? I was like, I don't know, because it's somewhere there, seriously. But he's good. He also suffered an injury. And he is very ambitious. And Barbara Fuzarpali is always by his side because he's been knowing him. She knows him since he was a very small boy. And she's there. He has a Russian mother, Olga, an Italian father, but he also has Italian mother because Barbara Fuzarpoli there by the boards, she's so nervous. She's so like it's such a fun thing to watch her when he skates. When he's doing a jump, I think he definitely deserves an extra point for just landing that quad being that tall because I think it's so different from being 180 because I mean it's this difference between him and the tallest skater there on the field in the field. And he's very beautiful. Sorry. He's like a
Maya, yes.
no, it's not. It's like it's there. He's very intelligent. He's very well behaved. It's a pleasure to speak to him. He's always very attentive and he's always helping others. And I pay attention to things like that because it means a lot what kind of person a skater is for me. I don't know why, but I mean, it's very important for me. And Nikolai always helps everybody. And Matteo Rizzo actually supports him a lot and they have good camaraderie and they were, really supporting each other. I love this about figure skating because when we say a big figure skating family, it's not just a beautiful phrase. When you see that behind the scene in the mix zone, when you see that in the green room when they're waiting for the final scores, sometimes it's really like family because they're really supporting each other. And this I really like. I'm that cheesy, yeah. Oh,
Now we know your favorites. Josephine, Olivia Smart, Memela Dikiji.
no, there are way more. It's just that
Anna Salato,
these are the people that we talked about. I love many. It's very difficult to say whom I don't like.
You cheat on me with podcasts all the time. Every time we talk, you're like, I have to go. I'm doing another podcast. Yes.
Okay, I'm very busy, but I always find time for you, right?
Yes, of course, yes. Okay, what was your?
It's just because I don't have I mean, I do have a Twitter, but it's a dormant account almost. It's like even if I were active on Twitter, I would never have time for any other work because there everybody is like, okay, now what we're doing? We're judging this person. Okay, now we are canceling this person. Everybody seems to be so busy.
I'm in and out of Twitter. It gives me too much anxiety. So like I will go on Twitter for a very short amount of time.
You know what really you really pisses me off? Sorry
Yeah.
for the words, but people are so easy to cancel a skater without actually reading what he said. Because very often what you have to realize, like the quotes of some international skaters are being back translated from, let's say, my quotes that are in Russian, which I translated from English. And if the skater is Italian or French, you have to realize English is not his first language. And very often it's not exactly what they meant. And they're being criticized and punished and canceled for probably something they never said.
Well, who's translating what I say on sports? Because they often get it wrong too. So
I will keep a close eye on that.
yeah.
So I translated well.
They
I think that
I
nowadays
announced that they were going to change the rhythm dance, and I didn't say that. I said that because of the rules.
No, that was not in sports. That was
Okay.
not in sports. That was in some, figure
Yeah.
skating social media, but that was not in sports. It's just that I think it's ChatGPT doing all this job, and sometimes it's not doing a good job. So I would really, really ask Twitter to be a little nicer, because I mean nobody's good enough. And even if somebody is good enough today, if he dares to say that he likes some Russian skater, he will be canceled immediately next day. And I think it's not that fair. Just, give some credit to those people. It's very hard work they have. And basically what we do, we sit in our couches. Okay, I'm running at the skating rink when I'm there and working there, but just a little bit of credit to that hard work.
Danny G has an adult academy. I saw Georgi Kunitsa was teaching adults. Why are you not?
No skating for me. That's enough of skating in my life. No.
Why aren't your kids skating yet? I think we could start some lessons.
Because I know figure skating too well. I would never send my kids into figure skating. Never.
Also, what's going on with the Jelena sisters? Are they still skating?
I have no idea. To be honest, I have no idea. There's some rumors they're changing flags. Then there are rumors they're joining pairs skating. Then there are rumors they're doing some shows. I think it's this season, it's not their season, and something may happen in May probably, because in May, Russian Federation of Figure Skating will announce some releases to other flags. But I don't think that many will happen because it's a pre-Olympic season. So I don't know. No updates on Jill and her sisters.
And final, what'd you make of Luka Britschgi? You know, he had quite the turnaround from the beginning of the season. He was really struggling when we first saw him on the Grand Prix.
Okay, I like him.
Okay.
Again, another skater that I
One of your
like.
favorites, or you like him?
I like him. I like his short program
Yeah.
a lot, and I like that he's trying to be different there on the ice. He is a very nice guy. Like we told him that after the, I think it was after the free, that you got your personal best, and he's like, really? I never kept a track of that. I don't know my personal best, and that was not like something he decided, he made up. It was like
Mhm.
serious, genuine. It was like, oh, I didn't know, and that's so good when
Mhm.
skaters are not that concentrated like on themselves, not focused on themselves. He's nice. He is always like, when he won the European Championship, he was sitting there and he's like, I'm a little bit shocked because those guys are better skaters than me,
Mhm.
and I don't know how that happened.
Mhm.
But usually, many skaters say that, oh, I'm so flattered by standing by these incredible skaters by my side. But when you listen to Lucas, he was like, I don't know how that happened. They're
Mhm.
better skaters than me. And that was fun.
Mhm.
Um, I think it's great when small figure skating nations get titles and get medals because it means so much for their countries. Imagine how many Swiss boys and girls will join figure skating now after Lucas being the European champion. Actually, did you know that Stéphane Lambiel never got the title of European champion?
I
He
forgot. I mean,
was a
he
world
won the world
champion.
twice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but he
Yeah.
never was a European champion. And actually, the last gold at the European Championship for Switzerland happened in 1947. Can you imagine? That was like long ago. I'm happy for those countries, for Estonia, for Switzerland, because it gives such a boost for the industry,
Mhm.
for those kids who join schools. Lucas is great. He definitely needs more quads,
Mhm.
but he is convincing on the ice. You believe him, and I think that's a lot. He is not that stable, but that season hasn't been that successful for him until the Europeans, obviously. I met him in Oberstdorf at Nebelhorn Trophy in September. He was not competing there, but he's training there. That's his rink. And he's like, I'm happy I'm training here because there's literally nothing to do here. It's a very small village in the Alps.
Yes.
And there's nothing to do there except for the skating rink. And he's like, I'm happy because now I can focus on my skating. So that was fun.
Yeah. What was your moment of the European Championships?
I think that home victory for Niina Petrõkina.
Really?
Because it's a fairy tale coming true.
I'm loyal to my
Uh,
queen. Olivia Smart, to me, just had the
no, but
most.
no, Dune is not, we're not discussing that. We already discussed that. But I mean, the
She was the
moment, if
queen.
we,
She was the queen of Estonia with this performance. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
she was, but you have to be there in the crowd because when she realized that she's a European champion. I mean, everybody was so happy. It's like in Kaunas last season when Alison Reed got her bronze medal in ice dance, and that was the day of the national independence, I think. And this huge arena was just all about Alison Reed and her partner. Um, these things, they stay forever.
How was the
Victories
crowd in
like
Estonia compared to Kaunas? Because there was so much talk about Kaunas last year, but the crowd looked quite good, I thought, for this.
the crowd was not bad,
Yeah.
but there was less of an Olympic vibe
Mm.
this season. I mean, Tallinn did a great job, don't get me wrong. Everything went very smooth. I mean, everything was there in time. There was Wi-Fi for the media, excuse me, but that didn't happen in Grenoble at the Grand Prix final. I mean, and the organization was good.
Mhm.
There was no this Olympic vibe again because in Kaunas there was a huge arena,
Mhm.
and many skaters told me that it was way bigger than they experienced in Beijing because
Mhm.
of the COVID and everything. This year it was just a very good European championship. I'll call it this way.
Do you know what today is?
No.
1 year to the start of the Olympic Games.
Ah, yes, exactly. Yeah.
Yes.
It's February the 6th. So in 1 year, we'll have the team event
Wow.
starting. Exactly. Yep.
Very exciting. Yeah.
Very like many skaters say that their dream is to go to that Olympics in Milano, even those who been in Beijing, because they said that it was not something they expected of the Olympics. It was so different, and they really wanted the real Olympics for them.
Yeah, and you were so disappointing during the Summer Olympics. You weren't into gymnastics enough. You were just like not into it. I know it was
I cannot do both. It's like I
disappointing.
need some time off. So
Come on, you have to be a bigger queen like Olivia Smart. You know, you have to be following.
nobody can be like Olivia Smart, I'm afraid.
Well, it just looks sexy, everyone. I know.